Greetings, viewers. Once again, this is A Vision Entertainment, and you are watching something spectacular today. I'm your host, Tommy Slaughter, and we have Mona Wolfgramm from
Moana, yes.
Moana. I'm sorry, Moana. It's not Mona, it's Moana Wolfgramm. She is from the popular, multi-talented billionaire group, the Jets. And she's here. She's going to explain to us, she's going to take us down memory lane, her journey, her career, and how things are going today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Moana Wolfgramm, a founding member of the 1980s family pop group, the Jets. She is also involved in producing new music. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on. I wish the whole band could be here, but I will do my best to speak on everybody's behalf.
Yeah, you can just represent for them. You know how we,
Right on.
I would love that too, if the band was here, but maybe that can be in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That's great. As a very young person in the band, what was it like having your youth and personal development play out on public stage? Do you feel you missed out on typical childhood experiences?
There's always a give and take when you're in anything you do. And I was the youngest of the Jets. I was 11 years old. Me and my sister Liz were both the lead singers, and 10 and 11 years old. We were pretty young. We were out of school and being tutored. So we missed a lot of the regular fun school activities. But I mean, you can't now that I'm a mother, who gets to travel the world and see every city in the state? Everything we learn
Right.
about in school, I kind of got to walk those
Hmm.
places and go across country and overseas. So I really can't complain. It was a blessing.
Well, and at that young age, traveling the world was like kind of exciting to you, right? Like, it was very exciting because the things you were seeing at that young age, you're like, what was the best place you went to? Something you can still remember.
Oh, I can remember going to Switzerland. We were there for the Montreux Pop Festival. Never been
Switzerland.
to a place like Switzerland, and it looked, I mean, the hills are alive. You can see,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
beauty of another country. You also appreciate where you come from.
yeah,
You go to
yeah.
places that are more poverty stricken. I come back to America and I'm grateful for the country I live in. So, yeah,
Mhm.
Switzerland was one of them that I loved. And also just traveling on the USO tour for the troops. We got to see a lot of people serving our country in other countries. You just feel a lot more gratitude. Yeah.
You've mentioned being unprepared for the intense attention that came with the Jets,
Right.
of the Jets' success. How did you and your family navigate that sudden shift from being Polynesian review to pop
Polynesian. Right.
Polynesian to review pop stars? Like how did that
Well,
shift?
I think like every ethnic family, minority family, you literally roll with everything new. My parents are immigrants from the island of Tonga, which is right by Samoa and Fiji. They came to America in the 60s looking for that American dream. So we were first generation Americans, and the culture helped us stay close. That's the beauty of the culture and our faith. Our faith kept us close so we could navigate through just the hustling of just getting around. I mean, before we were the Jets, our parents, they just made a decision after they seen the Jacksons and the Osmonds on a variety show.
Yeah.
They had 10 kids, and they were like, we got to do something different. We love music. Let's see if we can do a band. And
Wow.
because Polynesians are musically inclined, it's just something in our culture.
Mhm.
He just said, we're going to put our, shoulder to the wheel and see what we can do to make things happen.
Happen.
And
Wow.
we went on the road. Our parents, we were like gypsy kids, cruising all over the country, just trying to find an opportunity. And we end up in Minneapolis, of all places. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yep. Sorry, my
Mhm.
finger went on that. Someone keeps calling in. Anyway,
Yeah.
we end up in Minneapolis when Prince was coming out with Purple Rain, and
Mhm.
we just happened to be at the right place at the
At
right
the right
time.
time.
We were a lounge act, a bar band, pretty
Mhm.
much. We were just doing cover tunes,
Yeah.
working in the little Minneapolis Twin Cities, and we
Mhm.
started getting a little name for ourselves. And we
Wow.
ended up getting the attention of one of the producers, Prince's Purple Rain album. His name was David Z.
David.
And David Z or Dave Rifkin convinced our manager to come see us. He was like, "There's this group. They've been bugging me. Maybe you could look at him." His name was Don Powell, and he was a former Motown rep. He used to manage Stevie Wonder, David Bowie. He worked in Motown for a long time, and
Yeah.
he finally came out to see our us kids in a bar. And he was like, "There's something about that voice." My sister Elizabeth sang a lot of the leads, and I was her sidekick. And we
Wow.
both sang leads together. But he said, this is already like a family band. There's
Yeah.
self-contained. If we can make this work, they don't really look black or white,
Yeah.
Latino. They might just fit right in if we give them the right, you know, the right recipe,
The right
ingredients to make
recipe.
this group
That's right.
happen.
That's
And
right.
so he packaged us. We were very young, so we weren't writing our own music.
Mhm.
Um, we were old school. We don't even know how to read notes. But we were a family band that he felt impressed. Like, these guys are really good and they're humble. Let's see if we can give them a try. And that's kind of how it all started.
So that's how it went. You've been spotted, by Mr. Rifkin, right? Or by
Yeah, Don Powell and David Rifkin had seen
Rifkin.
us. Yeah, and David took us on and produced our record, and Don was also the producer on it. But yeah, Don Powell actually seen us. He gave us our name because our last name is German. We have
Okay.
German merchants that rolled up to the islands and started families and businesses in the islands, and we
Wow.
come to America with a German last name. And he said, Wolfgramm is too long. We don't
Wolfgram.
look German. And he came to see us at a club in North Dakota, Fargo,
Yeah.
North Dakota. We were at some little club there, and
Wow.
he heard the song "Benny and the Jets" by Elton John,
Benny
and
and
he
the
was
Jet.
like, "All right, Jets sounds like a name we could go with." And so,
Oh, so that's how the name came about also, the
yeah,
Jets.
yeah, we
They,
came out as the Jets. Yeah,
when you I just want to go back to the Fiji Island when you mentioned that. It reminds me of Jimmy Superfly Snooker and the Tongan because I used to
yes.
wrestling back in the day, and they used to say Jimmy Snooker from the Fiji, so that's it kind of
Yeah. Oh, that's
reminds me of
so funny that you remember because honestly, nobody knew who Polynesians were,
wow,
unless
wow.
they knew Jimmy Snuka or the Tongan kid,
Tongan kid, yeah.
Jimmy Fly Snuka, yeah, and Hawaii. They knew Hawaii,
Yeah,
but they
yeah,
never heard
Hawaii.
of Samoa and Tonga. But now they got The Rock. They got a lot of NFL players that are Polynesian, and
That's from there,
it's,
yeah, right?
yeah, we making ourselves known. We got some big boys that play football and rugby,
Wow,
and yeah,
wow.
yeah.
I think that's amazing. Your brother Leroy,
Mhm.
he taught other family members to play instruments. And how did that dynamic work in the early days? And what was it like working in the studio with musicians versus performing live?
Oh man, we learned a lot. It's very educational. My brother Leroy definitely had just a natural talent. He was given a guitar, learned a few chords from my mom, and
Okay.
then he was given the assignment to give everybody an instrument and teach them that. And Leroy learned off the radio how to play everything from bass, guitar,
Mhm.
keyboards, everything, and then he taught everybody else. You go into a studio, it's a whole nother monster. I mean, if you know how it is when you're in a studio,
Studio, yeah.
that it catches everything. So learning how to sing in a studio,
Mhm.
flat, sharp. Nowadays you can use auto tune. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
wonderful
easier.
techniques they use in the studio. But
That's right. That's right.
when we first came out, we learned a lot from studio musicians. I mean,
Mhm.
just the precision of knowing your craft and knowing how to use
Right.
it.
That's right.
As singers in the studio, man, many crying days, many days of just like,
But why? Because of the
they'll
pressure of
the pressure, and
practicing.
also you got the note right, but now I don't believe you. Okay, I believe you. I can feel the emotion, but you're flat.
Oh,
You know,
wow. Wow.
all those things, they're mental games, and a lot of singers today don't know that when you're in the studio, that microphone picks up all those little insecurities,
Right.
and you got to be on point. You got to have that confidence. And when you're 11 and 12, Liz and I, we struggled a lot with singing in the studio.
Oh, it was a major struggle for you at that time, 11 and 12.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. How did you even get comfortable with just going to the studio and singing, and how was school going at the same time? And that back and forth thing, the singing,
Right.
going to
I'm
school.
just going to say straight up, school was not a priority. I
Okay.
mean, of course, us
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
all kids don't want to do school, but I
Hmm.
think the career took over and our parents were just like, you got to make this work. This is your opportunity.
Yeah.
Uh, Kids go to school to find a future. You guys have your future right in front of your
Right in
face.
front of you. Yeah.
So give it all you got. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, the studio life, the live performance, we were very shy. All of us kids were a little shy to be in front of people. But
Wow.
when you're little, you just, okay, we're gonna do it.
Yeah,
We
we're gonna
just
do it.
grin and bear it. And we had days when none of us really want to perform, but we don't tell our parents that. Old school, they just look you in the eye, get up and do it, smile,
Right.
and you
That's
do
right.
it.
That's right.
But now that I'm in my 50s now, I appreciate that sometimes when you're young, your parents got to do things to give you some pathway.
That's right.
And maybe they would say there was some abuse involved because there's a lot of force. They want you to do something, but I can see why. Our parents came from nothing. They came from the islands looking, and they wanted us kids to have something to give us a future in America. And so I can appreciate some of that boldness, some of that. You understand when you see the Jacksons and the Osmonds, the parents were very strict. We had parents that were
Very,
just like
very
that.
strict. Very strict.
Eventually they gotta, cut you some slack because you're paying the bills. But at the
Yeah.
time, it's like the whole family is involved in trying to make things happen.
Was there ever a time you sat in the room with your siblings and regret any of this? Or did any of your brothers and sisters regret any of this?
There was a time when we all just wanted to take a break.
Okay.
Um, we had 6 albums out with MCA Records, and then they dropped us, and we went through a bankruptcy. And you go from doing hit after hit in a span of 5 to 6 years to your record company saying, "We want the new kids. We want somebody new. We want."
Wow.
And all your work is like kicked to the curb because the trend's changing. The
Yeah.
Jets came out in mid '80s. By the '90s, they had the new Jack Swing. They had you know
What was new? Yeah, around that time, Rump
they
Shaker
had they
and
had the
all that stuff.
Rock
Yeah.
from Portland. Trying to remember the name of it, but there was like a whole new thing happening in the '90s,
The music
and
changed. It changed over. You
yeah,
know.
it changed a lot. So then we get kind of kicked to the curb and we're back in clubs. We're back working bars.
Wow.
So I think the regret is, if there was some kind of a regret, it was we weren't smart with the opportunity we had. My parents didn't know how to save money.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
we lost a lot of money just from traveling. Like us kids, we're just thinking work, there's food in the kitchen, we're good. We don't know anything about money, how to save it, how to invest it.
Wow. Wow.
None of us have graduated high school, so then we're back in the clubs. And that's a dangerous place to be when you hit your young
Yeah.
adult years and you're like,
That's right.
all of your friends are starting their life and we're has-beens in the industry. It's
Wow.
it's a it's a definitely a tough thing to face when you're that young.
Yeah, that's almost like going into a depression type of stage,
Absolutely.
because it's like you went from one thing, it's like you went backwards.
Right.
And then yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Sorry, I
So
interrupted you.
I was going to say, in the eyes of the public, is like all this talk. One thing we hate
Mhm.
is when we think somebody is talking about us, and we don't want to
Right.
go near that. So it was like, wow, we fell off. What are we going to do? So I guess that was the pain
Yes.
you all
Yes. And
felt.
I feel for artists that come out and they got their big thing and they're excited. And then
Right.
record companies back in the day, they just sweep you out and take another, and they kind of leave you hanging unless you can establish yourself enough to get, some momentum. But I guess, our manager had told us there's gonna come a time when you guys, even the biggest groups are working a different scene. They're probably in casino showrooms working, and they gotta sustain themselves until another
Right.
opportunity. And,
That's right.
we hit the casinos. We were doing the 4 a.m. shift to nobody.
Wow.
And you learn, you learn some humility from that.
Yeah.
Luckily, as a family, we could at least walk through that dark time as a family and be like, well, we're not alone. We got each other.
That's
But
right.
even in the midst of being with family, we had our division. Our brothers, our older brothers sued us younger sisters and a brother over the name, and it got ugly for a
Oh,
minute.
wow. Wow.
The
Yeah.
family was split, but praise the Lord, we found a way through it. and we all have come to a place where we're like, our family needs to be more important than anything else.
That's
If
right.
everything
Right.
falls apart,
Right.
we got to have each other. And
Right.
before our dad died, we all got together and just said, family got to come first. Even if we don't ever work together, we're going to see you at the next barbecue. We're going to see you at the
That's
next
right.
family
Right.
wedding.
Yeah.
And we could put aside our differences. So, yeah, if there's some kind of regret, it might have been those not being prepared for those times
For those
when
times.
money is tight, no opportunity, that kind of a thing.
Was there ever a time where, when your father was living and he
Hmm.
set everyone around and told y'all not to fight and to always try to come together when bad things happen? Did y'all have those talks?
Oh, our dad was a talker. Like I'm talking
Uh,
2 to 6 hour meetings.
oh,
We sit and we listen, and he would grill us.
uh,
He would grill us about how important it is to be a family. The fame and the fortune came in effect, and I think it even affected my parents more than us kids. They thought that money wouldn't stop coming. And when the money dried up, it was back to us kids working again. And they hadn't worked in years. We were the
yeah,
breadwinners.
you were the
So then,
breadwinners.
yeah, so then we grow up, we're starting to have families, and we're like, well, when we do this show, it's going to be split 8 ways. It's not going to be mom and dad get everything and we just live under one roof. Now we got families. Now
Yeah,
we
you got
have
to
to figure
split.
it out,
Wow.
And so, but my father was a very religious man. He was a
Okay.
God fearing man, and he said, after all that's said and done, he was
Mhm.
like, my greatest joy is my kids.
That's right.
I have a posterity for the Jets. We are the eight oldest of 17 children.
Wow.
So we got a big family and we have over 89 grandkids. And
Woo.
my parents yeah, it's a big family. And now we got over 40, close to 40 great grandkids. So this is a big posterity. And
Wow.
before my father died, he reminded all of us, mom and I aren't perfect. We came from Tonga to America. We don't know nothing, but
Yeah.
we try to keep the family together. And at the end of the day, the money's going to come and go, but we got
Right.
each other, and that's
Right.
what matters. Yeah,
That's most important. You have each other because a lot
yeah,
of these groups let the money break them up, arguments
right.
break them up, and they haven't seen each other in years
Yeah,
behind
they
this.
will talk to each other. Like my brothers have a residency show in Vegas right now. It's called
Oh,
the Jets 80s and 90s Experience. You can catch them at the Planet Hollywood. And then my sisters and I and a brother Eddie, we travel across country on these old school cruises, the freestyle shows,
oh yeah, the freestyle.
and so
Yeah.
it's a blessing that my brothers have their place where they're happy, and then my sisters and I and one of our brothers, we travel, and we travel with our younger brothers who are our band now. So
Oh
we've
wow.
been able to
Okay.
learn how to make it work. Our younger siblings are all talented musicians and songwriters.
Okay.
um, so yeah, it's like the music legacy still carries on. We just do it a little differently than we
A little
did.
differently.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. I just saw something about freestyle. This freestyle edition concert coming up. Were you all invited to this one? It's going to be in Atlantic City.
So, oh, there's so many now. It's like this
Yeah,
generation grew up and they want their old school music
that's
back.
right. I love old school. That's right. I
Right. And
want
I
it.
feel like, a lot of the kids today love old school because that's
That's
good
right.
music.
That's right.
In fact, the Jets were invited on Lisa's 40th Take You Home tour. So
Yeah.
we were doing that all across the country. We have a few more shows with her before the end of the year, but the Jets are celebrating our 40th
Oh
anniversary
wow.
too. So
Okay.
we told everybody, where do you guys want to go? Let's do one big bang show. And they said, let's come to Hawaii where you live and let's do a show. So I said, what's our wish list? Who would we love to have on this show?
Wow.
And
That'll
of
be nice.
course, all of us picked Zap, Midnight Star,
Zach.
and Denise
Wow.
Williams.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So
That's beautiful. Wait. So this is going on soon, right?
yeah, so in a month,
Yeah.
November 14th, the Jets are celebrating our birthday with our icons, our favorites, Zap, Midnight Star, and Denise Williams.
That's
We
going
had
to
a
be
few other friends, but they were all busy doing other gigs. We wanted Evelyn Champagne King on this. We
wow.
wanted Montel, but next
So
time we're going to bring them back next year for another birthday here in Hawaii.
yeah,
So,
you will. I'm going to try to make that show. I am.
oh
I
man,
try
let
to
me
make it.
know. Yeah.
I try to make it.
But I
Wow.
look at old school music and I think, man, our kids, they came to the show with Zap and they were like, who's Zap? And then they hear more bounce to the ounce and they're like, this is Zap? they think it's their music. I'm like, no, this is our music.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
That's
they
right.
hear No Parking and Slow Jam, and they're like, this is Midnight Star. I'm like, you're looking at icons. You're looking, I think Midnight is celebrating
Icons.
their 50th next year, and we're honored that they're coming to Hawaii. So, yeah,
Wow, that's what. Before we move on with the next question, let me ask you,
sure.
who do you listen to? What group out here today
Hmm.
you like? And you say, okay, they are right. Who do you listen to today
Oh
out
my gosh. My kids more than me. Jeez.
here?
Uh, I'm just trying to think right off the top of my head because everything I listen to is old school. If there
Yeah.
was anybody new, and they're not that new anymore, because I'm just old. I'm
Yeah,
older now.
yeah.
I'm trying to
I
think off the top of my head. I mean, of course, I love Adele and Bruno, and I know that they've been out, so I know they're not new.
no.
Um, I was a big Shantae Moore fan.
Oh, Shantae Moore. Okay, okay.
Yes, just anything R&B we loved. I'm just trying to think. My mind is going blank. Um,
Shantae Moore. How about Karen White?
oh
Shaka
yeah,
Shaka Khan.
yep. Shaka
I don't.
Khan. Growing up, we listened to Earth, Wind and Fire, of course, Midnight and Zap. But
Yeah.
today, because I don't listen to today's music, I'm not a big fan of
I don't.
everything
I
today.
don't either. So it's kind of hard.
Yeah, yeah. I loved Angie, Angie Stone. I just,
Yeah, you still.
you know, so
How
I'm
about
a,
like
I'm an old
how
school
about
fan.
Erica Badu or somebody like
Oh, I know. Yes, Erica. There's a
or
young girl out
Jasmine
named,
Sullivan? Yeah.
yes, there's a young lady out named Yeba. I love her stuff.
Oh,
And
never.
Emily King, she's another one. But yeah, I think I'm just a fan of anything that's
Old
got a
school.
little bit of that old school feel
That's right.
involved
That's right.
because I think they just appreciate, when people sing, you can just hear it from their heart if it's coming from a organic place.
It's totally different. This is the reason why my platform is for 70s to the 90s because I'm giving
Mm,
you all your flowers now. And this is why
wow.
I do this podcast. If you look at I don't know if you saw any of my shows, but I have everyone from
Wow.
Melissa
Yes, I did notice. I did
yeah,
notice. I was kind of scrolling through everybody you speak
yeah,
to, from the Manhattans to
yeah,
some of the
Bloodstone.
newbies. Yeah, yeah,
So I love that era. That is my era right
yeah. There was
now.
something unique about that era too. Just people spoke from the heart.
Man,
You hear R&B singers from that time,
that's
you
right.
still hear it in their voices. You hear that recording over and over from
Yeah.
Bloodstone or Heat Waves. You can feel that.
Yeah, you can feel
Yes.
it was something, I think it was more love pouring out,
Yeah. Yes.
and they telling you, they giving you their story
Right.
truthfully, you know.
I mean, today I've got a son who's a DJ, who loves music too.
Yeah,
Um, but it's so accessible to them.
yeah,
You
yeah,
had to work a little harder for your music, and
right.
they're so talented today. The kids today, that are in music, um, very talented. But
Yeah,
there's just something about a little bit of that struggle that you hear from,
yeah.
from a
It's
Luther,
not.
Teddy Pendergrass or
Oh,
something.
that's
You
right.
can hear it. Yeah.
The whispers, you hear that, that
Yes.
real good feeling music. Wow,
Right. Right.
wow. Well, let's go behind the hits of the Jets then. Let's talk
Okay.
about that.
Sure.
You all had many memorable hits. Could you share a story or specific memory or recording of one of your biggest songs as such as Crush on You or You Got It All?
Oh, okay. Crush on You. They were a team, Jerry Knight and Aaron Zigman. I think they did do songs off of the Break-In soundtrack. It was
Okay, yeah.
that Ain't No Stopping Us.
No
And
stopping.
yeah.
Yeah,
So anyway, Jerry, they wrote us a song called Crush on You. Two cats from LA, young songwriters came to Minneapolis with Crush on You. And he had that high falsetto in his voice, and we all fell in love with Crush. They
wow.
ended up writing Crush on You, our first single, Curiosity, that came out before that,
Mhm.
and then a few others on that record. But we loved doing Crush on You. It's right up our alley. You're teenagers. All of us were age 11 to 19. So
That's right. That's
Crush
right.
was just got that energy, that young teenage, that all those feels in it. And then we ended up, like Liz and I came up with the moves for the video, the little shimmy.
Mhm.
But yeah, working with Jerry Knight and Aaron Zigman was great. Now, You Got It All
Wow.
is an interesting one that you mentioned because It was written by a songwriter named Rupert Holmes. He wrote
Okay.
a song in the 70s, the Pina Colada song. If you
Okay.
like pina
Pina
colada.
colada.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
he wrote it for us, but Liz and I were like, we're 11 and 12, like, what is this?
Yeah, what is
And it
it?
was a guy singing it, and none of us liked
Yeah.
it. And they assigned it to Liz to sing. And I was like, hey, good luck. I'll be in the green room while you lay this track down. And she
Wow.
struggled a lot with You Got It All. She didn't understand the lyrics. You're 11, you don't know what love is all about. So our
Yeah.
manager had to break it down and say, if you had a puppy, do you love puppies? If you had a puppy and it died and you were so connected and someone tried to
Oh, wow.
exchange it with another puppy, how
Yeah.
would you feel? Like you can't, there's that. And she was able to sing You Got It All with that in mind.
Right after
And
that, right?
yeah, she
When you
attacked the
explain it.
song with that
Wow.
emotion.
Mhm.
So people thinking it's love for her, but it's a little puppy.
It's about a puppy.
So
Yeah, and
right,
she's imagining losing a puppy.
yeah, she's just for her age. And now when we sing it, we love it. But I think growing up, we had a hard time singing the ballads. Just like it just seemed, youth they don't like ballads, but now
Yeah.
that we're older, when we sing it to an audience, it takes them back to prom or their
Mhm.
first date.
Mhm.
We just sing it with a little more emotion. And not we're both married now. Liz has 7 children. I have 6.
Okay.
We've been married for over 25 years. So You Got It
Wow.
All. It has a different meaning to us today. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I was going to ask you, how was that just listening to it today? Or let's just say you drive it in your car and they play it on the radio. Do you still have that good feeling? Do you feel that feeling from the
Oh
first time
yeah.
you made the track?
Anytime it's on the radio, it's still like surreal to us. That
Okay, it's,
that's
it's still that way. Okay.
Yeah, like, because we're living, we had like a heavy stint of traveling and touring for a couple of years, but when you step away from it and you're just raising your family and then you hear it on the radio and you go, God, that's us.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
surreal for us. We feel very grateful.
Wow. What was you all doing at the time? Like, what was the group doing when you first heard your song? Were you all working? Well, you was 11 and 12. So,
Right.
yeah,
The first time we heard, so our first single was Curiosity. MCA back then had a black music department and
yeah.
pop. We were
Okay.
signed to the black music department by a man named Gerald Busby, and
Okay.
he ended up being Motown's president. Great guy. He said, "I don't know where to put you. We're going to put you in black radio. Release this song without a cover. Just going to be a single.
It's a
No
single.
picture. See how
Wow.
well this does." And Curiosity went to number 9 on the R&B charts. We were in
Wow.
Detroit, Michigan, doing a promotion tour,
Mhm.
traveling through Chicago, Detroit, and we hear it on the radio, and we're I don't know if you've seen that movie, That Thing You Do, where it's the movie of like a boy band back in the 50s or 60s, but we were
It's
tripping
called
out down the
That Thing You Do.
hallways. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
I think it's that, or The Wonders. It's called The Wonders.
The Wonders. Okay.
I think it was the movie, something like that. Anyway, there is a scene where they hear their music on the radio and they're going nuts. We were the same way in Michigan. In our hotel room, we blast the radio, running down the hallways, going, "Can you? This is us. This is us."
Yeah, amazing. It's like, wow,
Everything that all of the bars that we worked in and the clubs, it just felt like it all paid off to just hear our song was on radio. And so,
wow, wow.
yeah.
When you mentioned curiosity, does it
Mhm.
is it like the hook go
It
correct me
goes,
if I'm curiosity, I
yep,
want to know. Oh
yep.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Is
yeah,
she just
yeah.
a
Yeah, that's my
plaything?
song.
Yeah.
That's one of my songs. My
Right.
sister, I know she can't wait to see this. Her name is Tamara. She loved the Jets. She listened to y'all
Oh,
every single day. Every
thank you,
day.
Tamara. Thank you for listening to the Jets.
She loved the Jets. Yes, she do. She loves it. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Your story, just hearing the song and running down the hallway and just, like,
Yeah.
wow, wow.
Well, we're a bunch of Polynesian kids. We didn't think we had a chance.
Yeah,
And we didn't have an identity just yet. We go to New York, they thought we were Puerto Rican. We go to LA, they thought we were
yeah,
Latino or Filipino.
that's right.
And we were like, we're good. Yep. They thought Minneapolis, they thought we were mulatto. So we rolled well with the minorities.
That's right. That's right.
And that
Was
was a
it,
blessing to us.
and I know it was a blessing, but was it a problem with the industry, the music industry, as far as like the artists, not the artists, the execs? Was Did they know exactly where to place the group at? like were they confused on where to place you guys at? What I
Yes, they
mean
were
by that is
absolutely.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
good.
they were absolutely confused. In fact, I
Okay,
think back in the day, our manager said that pop radio just thought this was just going to be a quick stint and we'll move on.
okay,
But our manager was like, I have a set of songs that are gonna be hits and they will, this first album will become platinum. They thought he was crazy. Um, but Curiosity went R&B, Crush on You crossed over to pop radio. And then after that, he came out with You Got It All. That was a very adult contemporary.
that's right.
So he said, I want you guys to appeal to a wide variety of people, not just one market.
Yeah,
And his strategy worked, but he definitely had to work the system. There was at the time, it was kind of called payola, where you kind of paid off these program directors back in the day
yeah, yeah,
to get your music somewhere. He goes,
yeah,
you have to
yeah.
play these games to get your
Under the
work.
table
Sometimes
stuff.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, under the table kind of stuff. And we laugh about it now because it's all, in the past. But
Yeah.
you can be so talented, but if you're not working with the right people or using some type of a strategy
Right.
to get you
That's
out
right.
there, your talent doesn't get seen. And I think today it's harder because the amount of talent in music is beyond what we did back in the day. Record companies are almost, you can be an independent artist and get out on YouTube and become famous,
The
just
biggest
influencing
persona.
people.
Yeah, the biggest. Yeah, that's right. They didn't
Yeah,
have that back then.
the record companies don't have that same strategy and that manipulation to the game that they did back in the day. It does allow artists to kind of control their own career, but still, there's way more music. So the attention span is different. You got to be really kick-ass
That's
talented,
right. That's right.
to
That's right.
even make a scene anywhere because it's just so many shows. There's American Idol, The Voice, a lot of different ways that you can be exposed.
It is a lot of different ways. Going into the industry at your age. I mean, the group.
Mhm.
Were there any strange situations that happened going through the labels as far as like did they wanted you guys to change some things about yourselves or did they keep a lot of the money? Like how was that going through at a certain age, that business?
Geez, the pressure is real when it comes to you being young, because we came out as a very clean, squeaky clean family group,
Okay.
and after our third album, they wanted us to kind of sex it up, change it up. They wanted us
Change it up.
girls to, you know what I mean? They wanted to
Show,
reinvent
show,
you
show some
and
skin. Show a little
show
skin
some
almost.
skin, show a little bit of, little
Yeah.
sexiness here and there.
Yeah.
And Liz
Yeah.
and I were tomboys. That's hard.
Oh,
We're tomboys. So we were like, what? And then they, the image was you guys are a little overweight. People don't like to buy, kids don't like to buy music from fat kids. It was like straight up, you got to change it up. You guys maybe think of some surgery, your nose, your
oh
face,
wow.
like that kind
Wow.
of pressure is there.
Yeah.
It's real. Thank goodness today people are a lot more organic. A lot of artists are they allowed to be themselves, but when they packaged you, they want you to stay in that little package. They want you to, change here
Yeah.
and there. So
Change.
that was the pressure for one way. The other pressure was they want you to change up your music, and music was changing.
At that time.
They want new faces. Like we crack up that we go to Boston and there's a new group that's excited that we're letting them warm up for them. They come and meet us and they're like, we got 3 shows in Massachusetts with you. We're called the New Kids on the Block. Thank you for giving us this time. 3 months later, they are untouchable, on top of the world, surpassing everybody. And then we're in the club. Hey, you want us
Yeah,
to
like,
warm up
hey,
for
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah.
You
What's going
remember
on?
us? Yeah.
Hey,
So
wow, wow, wow,
the
wow.
change is real, and you gotta have your people that were there for you on day one, because
That's right.
it's very easy to forget who you are, and if you don't have the people that were there, they don't remind you. You're just like everybody else. Keep you grounded. Go
Wow.
back to that, because a lot of people jump on the bandwagon when you're rolling high, and then suddenly you don't got anything, and they're gone.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I know MC Hammer had a lot of that happen to him. He had a huge entourage,
Yeah,
paying everybody out, helping
yeah,
employ everybody,
that's right.
and then he loses a lot of it, and it goes with that. He loses a lot of people that
That's right.
didn't have his back. So
It's
But I'm
sad.
not, yeah, I don't know if there was anything unusual other than that.
Okay.
Just that that's the nuance of the industry, you know.
You know, it's sad, and I'm gonna go on with this next question. It's sad that that happens and you have to go through that situation. And as far as touring with the
Hmm.
group,
Right,
you know, sometimes you get into an altercation with your family members. Was there
right.
ever a moment where someone didn't actually go on stage? They just didn't want to, and you know, was it an argument or how did that play out?
Oh, yeah, we had a lot of arguments. We family, we're just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
tired of seeing each other. We all are rooming in different rooms together. We're just tired of the business, the life on the road. Yeah, there were many times. Our brother Heine, he sang the song "Rocket to You." It had just come out. It was one of our singles, but he had just gotten married and his wife was about to give birth. He
Oh,
just did not want to be on the road. He
oh
was
my.
like, I don't want to be here. Yeah, had full blown fight at one of our shows during sound check, cymbals flying, you know, like our
Wow,
roadies coming to break us all up.
wow,
And it was like
wow.
he wanted to go home. He just don't want to be on the road. He wants to be with his wife.
He was tired.
Um, You know, and then when you're married, it can be hard on the spouse. If the spouse doesn't understand that this is your life, she might take it or he might take it personal that you're not really singing to that person. It's
Yeah,
just part of it, you know. So
wow,
those nuances of being married and that kind of stuff can happen. So if you marry an
wow.
entertainer, you know it's just part of their business. And as an
Yeah,
entertainer, you behave yourself too.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah,
yeah,
behave yourself. You're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Wow, you know, you've spoken about fame taking a toll on your family.
yeah.
Can you describe the most significant ways the business strained your family bonds? And what was the breaking point that forced you to prioritize family over career?
It was the loss of employment. You know, the new turn in music. We ended up not having any shows. People are not knocking on the Jets door anymore.
No
We're
phone
back in the
calls.
clubs, and people are like, "What are you doing here? You know, you guys are the Jets. What
Yeah,
you doing in this little club?" And we're thinking, we're just trying to make it happen. We're trying to. This is all we know. From 11 years old to 18, you end up in a club and that's all you know because that's all you've invested in.
yeah,
Um, that was a tough time. We all actually kind of disbanded for a while. I got married and moved to Hawaii, and it was very stressful. My sister Elizabeth, she ended up having breast cancer, and I think that was a manifestation of the stress. You being so young and the pressure to keep making that money, and you just don't have it in you anymore.
yeah.
um, she ended up with breast cancer and she got
Sad.
the tumor removed, but she told me after the surgery, I'm not doing this if I can't have a future. I'm about to get married and I don't want
Wow.
this life. And so Elizabeth walked away and said, I want my family. So she
Oh,
went and started her family, and I was left running the group as the lead singer. So I
wow.
took on the leads for most of it. And then after a while, it was just, I needed a break too. Um, that life is stressful. You know, you have gigs, you have no gigs. You got gigs on the weekend, and then you suffer for a month or two just trying to figure out how to make rent. And the whole family was kind of up in arms. So we all took a break and just said, we just need to drop this, go
Yeah,
find another life. And I think a lot of us being married, our spouses were actually a blessing to us. Like God gave us a tender mercy and
yeah.
blessed us with good in-laws because
Good in-law. Yeah.
they helped us. And then
Mhm.
suddenly there was a surge after, you know, early, I think like 10 years ago, maybe even 15, there was like a surge for 80s and 90s music. And we end up
Yeah.
on the road again. So
Yeah.
next thing we know, we see Jody Watley, we see Lisa, and everybody is just cool. Like back in the
Wow.
day, everybody had like a little thing, you know. We were on the same record company with New Edition, Jody
Like
Watley.
competition. Yeah, I
Uh,
know,
the
you know,
competition's there and everyone got their
egos,
egos. But then
ego.
20 years later, we're just happy. We all got kids. We're all a little more overweight.
Yeah,
We've been home. So we're happy to get some work. And we were
yeah.
happy to be on the road again. And
Wow.
it's really nice to see the artists that are out because we're all good friends.
That's right.
We talk about their families, what they're up to, and how they work on the road and they go home to their real life. You know, it's like you come full circle.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, everyone has the same, almost have the same story of
Right.
the end of the music industry. Since leaving the spotlight, what's the most surprising part about singing in the choir with Gladys Knight?
I can't believe you know that.
Yeah.
Oh. So during the lawsuit, our brothers sued us. We weren't allowed to be the Jets, so we had to lay low, and they were performing, and I was just down and just I'm home raising my kids with my husband, and I get a call, and Gladys is looking for singers, and she had a lot of Polynesians in her choirs. So one of my Polynesian sisters, Tema, calls me and says, "You got to come and." And I said, I'm too busy
Yeah.
raising kids because no, you need it for you. Um, Ended up joining her choir of 100 people. And it was a beautifully mixed choir of Black, white, Polynesian, Asian. And I toured with her on 3 tours. And I learned something from Miss G. She taught me how to
Wow.
sing from your soul. Um,
Okay.
I come from a very conservative faith. We're Mormon, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We just pretty plain singing. Gladys became a
Yeah.
member, and she switched up the music and taught us how to sing from our soul the way she grew up as a Baptist, former Baptist. And yeah, it was life changing for me, for my own like soul. I needed that for me, and I never
Okay.
sang for Jesus like that ever before. And it
Wow.
was definitely amazing. Yeah. She's no joke. I mean, Gladys,
Yeah,
when it
yeah,
comes to
Gladys Knight.
singing,
Yeah,
yeah, when it comes to singing, she knows how to bring the music.
that's right.
But she really taught all of us how to sing from our soul and dig deep
Okay.
down. Yeah, we had a few tabernacle choir members that came looking for music, and they were like, "Where's the sheet music? Miss Gladys only bring us lyrics."
Right.
And
That's
she
right.
sits us down and tells the whole choir, "There is no music. You're gonna follow me." And she
Wow.
said, "When I say dip
Wow.
low, you dip low. If I say change it up, go high." And
Go high.
it actually taught a lot of the choir members that we don't sing with music notes. We sing from soul. You learn with your ears, and you learn how to sing from the heart.
That's right.
So yeah, she it was an
Wow.
honor to sing for her. And I even
How,
got to sit next to her a few times, like there she is. Yeah.
that's wonderful. How often do you talk with her? And just that question, and do you get offered, the group get offered to go to like American Music Awards or any type of award shows? Do you guys get offered to attend?
Back in the day we did, but not recently. We all live all over. I live in Hawaii. I've got siblings in Vegas, in Utah,
Yeah.
in California,
Okay.
and Florida. So, it's not really, I think the Jets are we're in our old school lane,
Yeah. Yeah.
which we
Yeah.
are happy to be in. Um, but yeah, we haven't been invited to an awards show, and we're good. We've been there. We love it. We
That's right.
appreciate it.
That's right.
Um, but yeah,
How about with Gladys Knight, the relationship? Do you still talk with her every now and then?
I she retired and they dissolved the choir just a couple of years ago because I think she's approaching her 80s or maybe she's already in her 80s.
She is. I think
Um,
she's
but
about to. Yeah.
bless her heart, she is still like sharp when she sings. She's one of those entertainers um, that you just appreciate. That she knew her stuff. She knows how to hold the audience in the palm of her
That's right.
hands.
That's right.
And when we
Right.
first came out, our first icon that we warmed it for was Tina Turner. And I watched this woman take that stadium and just hold them. And I just was like, what is that? She
Wow.
just had that charisma, and you know that people are blessed. And she was always so gracious. But her, Gladys Knight, they have that in them. It's just it was a God given gift, and they've used it wisely and graciously, and to this day, she's still class act.
She,
You
she's
know,
still she's still out there blowing people down. She's still doing her thing.
yes, yeah.
If you had to choose
Mhm.
between Patti LaBelle and Gladys Knight, who would it be?
That's so wrong. I don't even know, man. I gotta stick with my Miss G because
Okay, okay, with Gladys,
that
Gladys Knight.
personal relationship that we were able to honor, be a part of this. But man, Patti LaBelle, yeah. I mean, it's great to see that. I think they were on a tour together. Patti,
They were.
Gladys, and Shaka Khan, right? They were on a few.
I think Melba Moore was there, if I'm not mistaken. I think she
Oh
was.
yes, and Stephanie Mills. I think they
Stephanie.
were one of
Yeah.
them. Yeah, yeah,
Wow, that was wonderful.
yeah.
Wow, with some of your younger siblings and your own
Mhm.
children in music, What lessons from your experience with the Jets do you hope to pass on to them?
Um, love what you do, but love it whether you make money or not. It's got
Okay.
to be something that's, genuine to what you do. You got to work. There's no way around it. I try to tell my kids, yeah, you have talent, but sometimes it's the work part that gets you the opportunity.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of talented people that are just too cocky for their own good.
Yeah.
And people can't deal with that. And I've got a few boys that are athletes. So I always tell them your talent is one thing, but your hard work is what the coaches are looking for. You got a good attitude, you're
That's
going to
right.
go a little farther. So
That's
it's
right.
the same. I think it's the same concept. Is that there's no way around it. You got to work. If you want it that bad, you got to work for it. You got to love it. And then stay humble.
Stay humble.
Humility is kind of a big thing. We got to remember to be humble because
That's
it can be given to you and then it can be taken away.
take it away. That's right. They give it to
Right.
you, they feed you, and then they say, you know what? Everything slows down. You're like,
Yeah, and it
wow.
does. So we've
Did you
had
ever,
some days where we eat like kings and then we eat like paupers. You just never know.
wow, did you ever have the group? Did you ever want to come together and buy something like a restaurant or a clothing store? Just something at that age where you could start a business
Right.
before, yeah.
I wish we did. I wish we had thought about something like that. But in the process, I've got a few brothers that own catering companies on their own.
Okay, okay.
And I have a brother that owns his own restaurant. So we support him, but we never did something together. The one thing that we have done recently is every time we do shows, we try to put a budget aside for a
Okay.
family reunion, and we take the whole family and say it's been paid for. Everyone just needs to
Wow,
come and show up.
wow, wow.
Yeah, we did a cabin out in Utah. It slept 120 people,
Oh,
paid for the
wow,
whole week.
wow.
And the whole family, we just wanted everyone to roll up and have a good time. And we were on 600 acres of cattle ranch, just our family, our big family, and the cows.
Wow, that's great. That's
Well,
great.
it was
You
just
know?
family time. And so we've done things like that. Every time we do shows, we say, okay, this gig is for the next family reunion in Vegas, or this show, we're paying for everything for this thing. And so, you know, that's a blessing that we can do that.
That's a blessing. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Do you all get together? Because you have a huge family. Do y'all get together and
Yes.
do like family reunions?
Get together reunions either by a lake or cabin. We can't meet in someone's home. We don't. None of us have a big enough house, so it's always at a church or
A
at a
church?
park.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we go to a big old park. Our family is like every other crazy family. We eat a lot. We
Imagine the
play.
food. I know it's a lot of
Oh,
food. Plenty of food.
if you, I don't know if you know any Polynesians, but we love to eat. There's always going
Wow.
to be some type of a roasted pig or barbecue. A
Yeah,
lot of music and a lot
yeah.
of yeah, a lot of
That's,
singing.
that's great. That's great. Just keep it up. Just a few more. I know I don't want to because I was trying to get out by 4.
Yeah, no
Well,
worries.
right here is right. I could edit. Don't worry about it. I'm a great
Yeah,
video.
wonderful.
After leaving the music business for a decade, what drew you back to performing? And what was the time away like for you personally?
Um, it was uh, it was a struggle for me personally. I left not on good terms. The music had just drained me. I got to a point where we were in these casinos and we were doing cover tunes and Jets music, and I was singing Sheryl Crow's all I want to do is have some fun. And I was up there singing, all I want to do is have a little fun and I was bawling my eyes out like I don't like this, you
Oh,
know.
wow, wow,
So I left the industry, got married, and I told my husband, I want to go far away from the business and I want to go far away from my family. I'm tired of
wow,
both of them.
wow.
Stayed in the island and it was therapy. Therapy for me. I live on the North Shore of Hawaii on Oahu.
Okay.
And I found myself there. Just the beaches, the beauty of the people. I found my people too, because we lived in Minneapolis. We weren't around our islanders, but I moved to the islands and found myself again. And came to a gospel show. There's a bunch of my brothers, they're the Katinas. They sing gospel music. They live out in Nashville. Came to one of their shows, and I had already had 3 or 4 kids and cried in the back. I just was like,
Wow,
I miss my
wow,
family. I miss doing this. And I ended up coming back to the industry, and then we started getting calls. They were doing old school shows. Somebody
yeah,
called us. En Vogue was here with Ready for the World and the Cover Girls, and they wanted the Jets. And I called my siblings. I said, "You guys want to do a show? I know it's kind of random, but it's with En Vogue and Ready for the World. These are
Yeah.
our old friends." And we were like, "Let's do it." So everybody got back together, came to
Right.
Hawaii, did one show, and we just felt that family connection. And that's what drew us back in. And
Wow.
then we just started getting calls. Like I was telling you, there was our generation grew up and got real jobs.
Mhm.
And now
Yeah.
they're like, we want our music. So we're going to look for whoever's still alive and we want to hire them. And
Wow.
the Jets ended up getting back on the road with a lot of these groups that are still outperforming. Yeah.
So this was the opener right there, getting them
Right.
phone
Yes.
calls. What was Rob Bass performing at the time too with you guys? Because I
Yes.
know he
Rob, we
came with
still do shows with Rob Bass, Color Me Bad,
yeah,
Montel.
Color Me Back. Okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, after experiencing platinum albums, world tours, how do you define success now? Is it based on album sales, personal fulfillment, or something else entirely?
Hmm. I think those things are contributions to it. But now that I'm 51, I would say if you connect with your audience and they feel something from you, I think that's the biggest success. Is you do a show and because I think when we were younger, we sang, but we were shy. So we
Mhm.
would sing over people, not looking in their faces. And today, you look them in the crowd, they're just like you. They came out with their husbands for a little date night and you sing
Yeah,
songs to their heart. I think that's the biggest success to me is walk away and people go, oh, the Jets brought me back.
yeah, yeah.
I felt like I was part of their family. Like that, we could
Wow.
die tomorrow and be happy with that. And I think all my siblings feel the same way.
Wow, that's great. That's great because, just looking ahead, I'm looking ahead at reunion shows that you just talked about.
Yeah.
What is it feeling like when you and your siblings perform together now compared to the band's initial run in the 80s?
Oh, it's all fun. Back then, you worrying about get the moves right, get on step on point.
Now this that's
Now we're yeah, now we're in our
yeah,
50s. We know we're a
yeah,
little
yeah.
older and stiff and heavier. So when we get up there and perform, we kind of crack up at some of the moves because the moves don't look the same. When you're 20 and
Wow.
you're doing your hip hop moves, they look different. When you're
Yeah.
50,
Well, yeah, you
our
know, oh,
kids crack up when they
yeah,
watch us, but they actually have fun. So I think we have a lot more fun because we're not as stressed. It's just like, hey, it is what it is. Let's go have some fun. Who knows?
yeah.
We lost a brother last year. He was
Oh,
in the
sorry to
group,
hear that.
Eugene, and we performed at his funeral just as like a kickback session of just enjoying music. And
Wow.
we just don't know when we're going to lose another member, and we just have to take every day as it comes.
Wow. I just want to go back a little bit when you
Yeah,
mentioned as far as when you're a certain age, it's not the same when you dancing. And
right,
it kind of brought me back to I just saw a kid in play recently,
right.
and they try to do the kick move when
Kick move,
you know how like when they grab their foot, their leg, and they jump
right.
over.
They got to link it, and yeah.
But when he did it, when Play did it, he had to actually stop because he had to catch his breath, and he said he hurt his knee. He hurt his knee.
Oh my gosh, that is
Reminds me
funny.
of we're not young anymore. We they did
No, you got to embrace it.
yeah.
I think we tried to go all out one time, and my husband, who's our manager, he said, "Hey, you're in your 50s. It's okay. You don't got to go all out. You don't have to be a fly girl up there. Just do your thing within reason, and we still got to raise our family." So he just told me, just embrace it. You guys are at a different place in your career, so
Right.
be okay with it.
Wow. Just last question. This here is leaving a legacy. Um, what do you hope the Jets will be remembered for? And what legacy do you hope to leave for your family and fans?
Wow. Um, that is a deep question right there. After all the ups and downs that we've been through
Yeah.
as a family after 40 years, I think if there's any legacy the Jets could leave, it would be the definition of what the word family means. I should have worn it today, but we have a shirt that says family on it. And
Okay.
it means forget about me, I love you.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I've learned from my brothers and sisters that we're not going to be perfect. We may not even work together, but family should be the number one thing. It's the only thing the relationship you take with you. It's the people that loved you from day one. It's the people that see you the day you die. So I'd say the legacy for the Jets is they were a family that had ups and downs, but they were still a family at the end of the day.
That's right. That's well said. Perfect. Well said. Are there any new projects coming? Any singles? Anything you're doing right now in the studio?
We've had a few things that we've worked on and never got it released. I will definitely keep in touch with you. We've done some gospel music and reggae island stuff. We do have something with Jelly Bean in Minneapolis from the time. We did a little collaboration with him with a lot of other Minneapolis artists. So look out for that. It'll be under Jelly Bean's project. That's probably the most recent thing we've done.
All right, that's recent. Thank you, viewers. We just had the legendary, iconic, she's rolled up in one, her and the family, Moana, I'm going to say it right, Moana.
Thank you.
Wolfgramm. I thank you so much. She's the lead singer of her family's group, the Jets. Everybody knows who you are, so I know they can go on YouTube and look at everything, everything on YouTube. I thank you once again for coming on to the show, and hopefully we can do this again. And anything you want to say to the fans right now?
I just want to say thank you too for inviting me on this show. I feel honored and humbled that you invited me. And for the fans, thank you for your support after all these years. We hope that if we see you again, we'll be able to, go back memory lane and just enjoy the good days. But yes, thank you so much. Much love and aloha to all of you. Mahalo.
Welcome.
Aloha, this is Moana from the Jets, and you are watching A Vision Entertainment. I hope to see you on this with our episode. Aloha.